Yo. What's good, Freedom Marchers? The topic of discussion this morning is going to be a little different, but not really, man. It all ties into the topics that I typically like to discuss, because at the end of the day, this is about our men being men, right? So I just want to get into it a little bit, because what I saw on this young woman's, I guess it was her podcast, is something that is very important to talk about, because there's a lot of different takes and a lot of different angles that people come at it from. And to me, it's really simple. And I'm talking about Dwayne Wades son, right? Dwayne Wade has a son, not a daughter. Let's get that out the way. I will not be addressing Dwayne Wades son as a girl. So I like to start with that, right? So Lucki Maree is this young woman who has a YouTube channel. She has a little bit over 1,000 subscribers, and she talks about a lot of discussions within the black relationship realm, right? And so she was talking about the topic of Dwayne Wades son, right? And now the whole podcast wasn't about that. She basically showed a picture of Dwayne Wades son, except his son is wearing a wig and wearing a dress and taking a girly pose. And so she asked her panel guest, the panelists on the show at that time, what they thought about it, right? And you know, one of the young women, she had two women on her podcast, two panelists. One of them said, you know, that's disgusting, you know, this is not right, this is wrong, blah, blah, blah. The right things to say about it, right? Because in reality, that's what it is. And I'll explain why. And then there was the other woman, I think she went by Steph into something, Steph, her name is Steph. But anyway, Steph is like, this is what I had a problem with. Steph says, basically, that she has no problem with this. And if he wants to, you know, address himself as a woman, blah, 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 then there's no problem with that. Okay? And Lucki Maree, I don't really know her take on it. She kind of like was moderate, basically, you know, acting as a good host should. Now, this is my problem, right? This is why the black male, right? Well, this is not the only reason. There's a lot of reasons. When we talk about accountability, right? When we talk about accountability, there are a lot of people and a lot of different entities that are responsible and accountable for the state that the black community is in, right? Now, not every black community is in a bad state. There's a lot of thriving black communities that are well off. You know, the neighborhoods are great, clean, all this other shit. I have demonstrated that. I actually took you guys on a tour through a neighborhood like that. But anyway, there's a lot of people that are accountable. There's a lot of different entities that are accountable. And one group of people that are accountable for, you know, a lot of black men out there being gay, and, you know, this whole explosion of, you know, transgenderism and homosexuality being out in the open and pushed and being part of an agenda is the black woman. And that's just real shit. All right. Black women are partly accountable for the state of young black men today. The reason that a lot of black men are soft, the reason a lot of black men are soft and whiny and, you know, turning to transgenderism and gay and all that other shit is because of black women. All right, because black women encourage this shit, right? Black women encourage black men to be gay and dress as women and drag queens and all that other shit, black women have been encouraging that shit for decades, right? You go girl and all this other shit. Oh, I got my best friend is gay and all that. They are partly responsible for this behavior. And this woman, Steph, on Lucki Maree's panel is a great example of that, right? She goes into how, you know, now the other young woman, she's like, basically like, well, how the hell could you believe that? How could you say that's good? It's not good. Number one, Dwayne Wades son is a child, all right? A child. And when children say they want to be something, when they're 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 years old, that's what they want to be at that moment in time. That's not something that's set in stone. So when Dwayne Wades son said, oh, I'm a girl, there are many ways you could have handled that, right? And that's not just Dwayne Wade, it's Gabrielle Union. Gabrielle Union is probably the mastermind behind this bullshit. I'm pretty sure of it. You know, Dwayne Wade, you know, even though he's a great athlete, a great basketball player, seems to me to be a little soft, right? Seems like a little softy to me. And this is one of the problems. Now, in that way, men are responsible. Men are accountable for boys growing up being soft because they're soft and they allow their women to raise their boys, even when they're in the picture. And then you have the problem of single mothers, right? Single motherhood is a problem when you have sons, and single fatherhood is a problem when you have daughters, right? Daughters need their mothers in their life, and sons need their fathers in their life. Not only do they need their fathers in their life, they need their fathers to be strong examples of what it is to be a man. In other words, in the terms that they use today, men need to be toxic. Men need to display and drip and convey male toxic masculinity. Because toxic masculinity is the key to manhood. And I only say toxic masculinity because that's what they call it. Whenever you try to display your manhood, whenever you try to stand on your nuts as a man, right? They call you misogynistic. They call you toxic male, right? And so manhood has been replaced with toxic masculinity. And so when you throw that euphemism on it, when you throw that connotation on it, it makes it appear that, oh, I can't be a man. Let me tell you, I almost got caught up with this shit. When I was in college, and this is in my like late 20s. No, not even my late 20s. What was I forgot how old I was. I took a sociology class, and they showed a documentary. It's called The Mask We Wear, or something like that. It's about basically men not being able to express their feelings, right? And that's where I was introduced to toxic masculinity as a concept. All right. Basically, it talks about how boys are taught not to express their feelings, not to cry, not to feel anything, to be taciturn or stoic and all that other shit. That is what it is to be a man. That's basically what this documentary is about. And it talked about how when these men grew up and became of age, how that damaged them and how that basically made them into had issues in their life, how depression and all this other shit. And we're talking about even like well-known men. I forgot, I don't remember exactly who, as far as the famous athletes, right? It focused on athletes, male athletes in sports, and how they're taught to hold their feelings back and all this shit. And I almost got caught up in that because it talked about how if a man raised their son to say, oh, don't cry about this, don't cry about that, you're not supposed to cry, stay tough and, suck it up and drive on, all that type of shit. That's what's supposed to be toxic masculinity. And I almost agreed with that. But see, there's always an extreme with these people. Basically, at the end of the day, they want men to be as soft as women. Let's just be real about it. Now, crying about something there's nothing wrong with that as a man, as long as what you're crying about deems that, right? If someone calls you a punk at school, right? Punk, that's a word, right? Or if somebody clowns you at school with words, I'm not going to tell my son it's okay to cry about that, right? But I'm also not going to say, it doesn't matter that they called you that, fuck your feelings. I'm not going to say that either. I'm going to find the balance, right? I'm going to say, well, son, this is the deal. Kids are assholes, right? Children are assholes. And so when children behave as assholes, we have to go in knowing that you're a child as well. Instead of getting your feelings hurt when someone, or it doesn't matter if you get your feelings hurt, or it doesn't matter if you get your feelings hurt. You can have your feelings hurt, but instead of crying about it and feeling sad and drawing into yourself and being miserable, how about you turn that around on them and you talk shit back? Clown them back, right? If people are clowning you, you have to be able to clown them back. Or you can shrug it off, or you can say, you know what, man? Or you can laugh about it. Think about how funny it might be, right? Oh, well, that's pretty clever. You know, I wouldn't just say, oh, man, don't worry about that. Fuck your feelings. Don't cry about that. That's some bullshit. No, I'll say, instead of crying about it, instead of feeling so sad about it, find a way to turn that around, right? Or use it for positivity. Like, you know, I mean, the kids are assholes. My pops told me that kids are assholes. They're gonna be mean. You know what I'm saying? And I can be mean back, or I can just shrug it off and know that I'm an intelligent being. I don't have to feed into this, right? But as a man, you have to display strength. That's just the reality of it. And when you say you have to display strength as a man, they have a problem with that in society today. And so, if your son comes to you and says, you know, I talked shit back to this guy and he got mad and he wanted to fight me. And then I would say, well, you know what? That's because you won that intellectual battle. And if he wants to fight you, that's okay. Because kids are also sensitive. Not only are kids assholes, they're sensitive. And they might not be able to dish it out, take it like the way they dish it out. So if they try to fight you, well, you know how to fight, so I taught you. This is what I trained you for. If they attack you, you can defend yourself. Now, that's how you roll with it. You give your child the tools to handle situations, no matter how they may come. Now, is a situation gonna always be handled properly, and are they always gonna win? Hell no. Like, you can teach your son how to fight, and then they might run into an asshole that also knows how to fight and is also trained, and he might get his ass beat. But at least you fought. At least you're gonna lose fights. And this is the deal, right? They don't teach you anymore. They don't want you to learn how to win, right? They don't want you to try hard to win anymore. But they also don't teach you how to handle loss when you lose. You understand what I'm saying? So this is the problem we're having today with the lack of manhood in this country in particular, right? Dwayne Wade, when his son said, I want to be a girl, he should have said, you know what? You think you want to be a girl right now because maybe you saw something that you thought was cool that girls do. But son, you're a boy. You understand what I'm saying? And as a boy, you're going to grow up to be a man, and that's what you are. Understand that. You are a man. And then you take it from there, right? That you don't say, oh, your son don't say, oh, Dad, I want to be a girl. And you say, oh, okay, here, let's get you a dress and some makeup. That's bullshit, right? You're not even trying. You're not even trying to say, well, you know, so you're not even trying. What is the deal with this? And I can tell you that it's probably Gabrielle Union Gabrielle Union probably was like, nah, Dwayne, nah, we ain't doing that. If he says he's a girl, that's what it is. And see, in that instance, you say, look here, woman, I don't give a hot fuck what you talking about right now. My boy is a man, and he will grow up to be a man. Point blank in the period. I don't get. If you want to leave, all right. I'll tell you what. You want to leave because I don't want my son to be a girl. Then my son is going to stay with me, because if he goes with you, I guarantee you're gonna make him. You gonna put him in. Nah, fuck all that. You have to be able to check your woman in that instance. If your woman is pushing this shit and trying to encourage your child to be your son to be a girl, just because he said he was a girl, you have to check her and step up as a man and say, nah. And now, but if Dwayne Wade himself ain't got a problem with his son being a girl, well, he failed his son. He failed him. He failed him. He failed him. You know what I'm saying? And that's another one bites the dust. Because if a father thinks it's okay for their son to behave as a girl, it's lost. It's lost. Unless he has an uncle that can step, but the uncle is just the uncle. He can't step into that role for him. You understand what I'm saying? We have to stop encouraging this bullshit. Right? We have to stop encouraging it. And it is bullshit, right? Transgenderism in and of itself is bullshit. But if you're a grown ass man or woman and you want to become a girl, hey, you're grown, that's your decision. That's your decision. I'm not going to placate it. I'm not going to indulge that shit though. If I know you're a biological male and you dressing up as a girl and you want me to call you a girl, it ain't happening. I'm not doing it. Period. And hey, it is what it is. I'm not rolling with that. But when it comes to children, this is abuse. Because what are you gonna do? What are you gonna do? Is Dwayne? I don't know if Dwayne Wade and Gabrielle Union went ahead and did the whole puberty blocking thing. If they do that, then that's abuse. Let me tell y'all something. A large percentage of people that transition and actually get the fit and actually do it with their parts, and they get their parts turned inside out and all that other shit, they end up regretting it, and they want to go. They miss their penis. Real shit. Then they end up committing suicide and all that type of shit. Right? And here's one thing that this Steph character said on Lucki Maree podcast. When the other young woman said, if your son came to you and said, I'm a murderer, you're just gonna accept that and say, okay, you're a murderer, right? You go ahead and go murder people. Steph said, this is what Steph said, which it's sad because she seems like a more mature woman, maybe my age or older. I don't know. I can't tell, but she appears to be my age or older. Well, I'm 42 years old. And women within this age group, Generation X women, I'm a Gen Xer. Gen X women really started this shit. But anyway, she said, well, if he gonna be a murderer, if he tell me he a murderer, he gonna be a murderer then. He's just gonna suffer the consequences, go to jail. No. That's how you handle it? If your child comes and says, I'm a murderer, you're gonna be like, okay, go ahead and murder people. What? No, that's not how you handle it. If my son's 8 years old right now, if he comes to me and says, man, I want to kill people, I'm gonna sit him down like, son, what you talking about, man? And if he might say something, this guy, he being an asshole, and I had a flash, I had a vision in my head where I was beating him upside the head with a baseball bat. I say, son, first of all, that's the coward's way of handling it, right? If somebody is being an asshole to you, you don't just take it back and go upside the head. You just, however you want to do it. You don't just say, all right, man, go ahead and murder people. You don't encourage that shit. What? See, this is how far people will go to try to justify their points. They'd go to the extreme of saying, yeah, my son said he wanted to be a murderer. Well, that's what he wanted to be. And yeah, that's how it's going to happen. Hey, he's just going to go to jail. What? No. You guide them. That's your job as a parent, right? Your children are under your purview. They're essentially, they belong to you, right? They need you. They can't survive without you. They need your guidance. They need you to show them how the world works. They need you to show them how to be a man and a woman. You don't just sit up there and accept their childish bullshit, right? It's bullshit. If a child comes to you and says they want to be a flamingo, what you gonna do? You gonna shave their, you gonna cut all the muscle off their legs and paint them pink? What? And you gonna tar and feather them and say, go ahead, man, go be flamingo? No. You say something like that. My son says, I want to be a flamingo. All right, man, you a flamingo, whatever. Say, yeah, it's a little whimsical bullshit. But I'm not going to dress him as a flamingo. I'm going to say, man, you can go be a flamingo for 30 minutes. And that might be as how long he wants to be a flamingo for. He might only want to be a flamingo for 30 minutes. Because that's children pretend, right? Children play pretend. That's how they learn. They pretend to be you. They pretend to be your mother. That's how they learn. That's how they learn how to go throughout life. They mimic people, right? It's mimicry. That's a form of socialization, right? That's why you have to be very careful about how you act around your children. Which has me wondering, does Dwayne Wade dress as a girl? I don't know, man. I don't know. But anyway, so this woman says that if he wants to be a murderer, go be a murderer. And then she says, but being a transgender is not harming anybody. There's no harm by it. It's not hurting anybody. But yeah, but it is though. It is. It is hurting that. It's hurting that child. It's hurting the family, right? It's hurting the community as a whole, because more people come out and become transgender, the more they'll see it as normal behavior, and they'll become socialized to the point where they say it's okay, and then that's what kind of harm it causes. And then what does that do? That leads to the reduction in the population. Black people are already only what? So they say. I don't really actually know how many black people there are in the country. They, you know what I'm saying? These consensus bureaus and all that shit, the Census Bureau and all that. I know people. No, I don't. I know that some people lie on those Census Bureau fucking forms. You know what I'm saying? And say they're white instead of being black, because whatever the fuck they might say they white. Anyway, we already have a lot of things that lead to us having such a reduced population, right? With abortions, with the black on black, with murders in our community, the black on black murders, which is reality, right? With all type of shit, and you throw homosexuality on top of that, the proliferation of homosexuality and transgenderism. That'll lead to further reduction in population. And then you have the whole dating world, right? The way dating happens today and all that other shit. It does cause harm. You know? Again, like I said, it's black women like that have encouraged this behavior in black men. And That's why it is the way it is today. And trust me, the powers that be use this to further perpetuate this shit. Right? However they got to do it. Because we know they want to reduce the population in general. They're going to use difference for different communities. Right? That's just the method. That's one of the methods they use to reduce the population in the black community. And that's just what it is. So, you know, man, we need to just knock it off, okay? Knock it off. It's not okay for a little boy to dress up as a girl 24/7 and all that type of shit and act as like they're a girl for they you know, to actually believe that they're a girl because their parents encouraged their whimsical imagination. Children have whimsical imaginations, and so they're gonna think they're a turtle. You know, I thought I was a Ninja Turtle. You know what I'm saying? I wanted to be a Ninja Turtle. I wanted to be Raphael. He's my favorite Ninja Turtle because he was an asshole just like me, right? Raphael was the tough asshole of the Ninja Turtle group. I identified with him. I wanted to be Raphael. I can't be Raphael. I'm not Raphael. I can be Raphael for Halloween, but I'm not Raphael. My mother didn't say, all right, Raphael. She didn't change my motherfucking birth certificate. She didn't change my name legally to Raphael. That's just the reality. And I didn't surgically have a turtle shell surgically installed on my back and on the front. Come on. Anyway, much love, like, share, subscribe. I gotta get out of here. Let's keep marching forward toward freedom and knock this shit off. Leave the children alone with that bullshit. Peace.